Hello and welcome back to my FPL channel. I'm FPL Dean and today you are here for my Game Week 32 Bench Boost team selection. Yes, that is correct. I've got a bunch of stuff to cover and I'm sorry, I haven't been able to upload videos this week. My voice died on Wednesday morning. I woke up and it literally wasn't there. And it's now slightly back. Probably getting used to the amount of alcohol I've been drinking on this holiday, but it is snowbombing and it's been a fantastic experience and I've enjoyed it. I actually had everything ready to go to make the videos. I just couldn't record it because my voice was useless. And then obviously the internet where I'm staying is not very good either. So I'm not even sure you'll be able to see this, but if you're watching it, you have been able to see it. So without further ado, smash a like on the video, subscribe if you haven't already, please, and leave us a comment with your plans for the game week and how you're getting on and everything. And I suppose, what more is there to do than jump straight into it? All right, so we're going to start with the Game Week 32 FDR, and we're into the final 7 game weeks of the season. We've got Game Week 32 is upon us. The next double game week, we've got back-to-back double game weeks, 32, 33. This week, obviously, as we can see from the FDR, Crystal Palace have that 2 tricky fixtures, but they've still got 2 fixtures nonetheless, and Newcastle obviously have those 2 middling fixtures, but again, they're challenging for the Champions League. Crystal Palace also probably challenging for Europe as well as the FA Cup. You would expect both teams are really going for that in that fixture with each other. And obviously this is made up from blank game week 29's fixture. So the other fixtures to note, we would expect Arsenal normally to beat Brentford fairly easily at home, you would think. But because they could be worried about their Champions League place or whatever and getting done more than 3-0 with the Bernabeu next week, they may rest players here. Aston Villa obviously have that Southampton game, which looks amazing on paper, but how many of their players are actually going to be playing in that game, considering that they lost to PSG and they did turn it around? They probably need everyone as fit and healthy as possible for that game. Not sure. Obviously, Brighton versus Leicester, amazing fixture at home there for them. That's fantastic. And Chelsea with a 3-0 win in the away leg and their home leg coming up, you would expect them also to not be resting players in this game, hopefully, unlike last weekend. So touch wood, that happens. Liverpool, obviously, Mo Salah, new sign contract. Will he celebrate by scoring a goal against West Ham? Who knows? Then obviously Nottingham Forest have Everton at home, and that you would think that's brilliant for the Forest defence and clean sheet potential. And obviously Spurs have Wolves, but I'm not convinced on Spurs, so I'm not going to talk anymore about them. So, the Game Week 32 top transfer players in and out. Jacob Murphy obviously leads the way, probably because of the fact he scored 2 goals last game week, and he's an amazing budget value option that will tee up your Newcastle assets. Mateta, obviously, double game week this week. Rogers, double game week next week. And obviously Southampton this week. Munoz, Livramento, Eze, Isaac, Burn, Sarr, Shah. It's amazing how many of these assets for this particular week are coming in. There's a couple of differential shouts in there as well. Like Shah's not someone I've really looked at or bothered with talking about because I just don't really see the value in him. But some people are going there. Obviously Milinkovic, again, Forrester coming in that amazing run pretty much through to the end of the season. Great asset there. Saliba, I'm unsure of. I really don't think he's worth the money at 6.5 million, to be honest. Guardiola, makes sense. Guardiola and Manouche are the only probably 2 Man City assets that are nailed onto that team at the moment, so that makes a lot of sense. And then obviously we've got Saka, who I'm not sure on him, and Timber, but this is obviously in preparation for next week. Watkins, ditto for next week. And then Evanilson, who's been in great form of late, and Kukurea, with that amazing fixture this week, makes a lot of sense as well. I've brought him into my team last week for this very week to play my bench boost. Then obviously Marco Asensio again next week. In terms of the players being transferred out, people obviously selling a lot of these assets to bring in double game week players, and they're either flagged or they've got bad fixtures. So in the case of Cliver, Aina, Wood, Gabriel, Gahey, Alexander-Arnold, Alanga, Hall, Haaland, Mikolenko, they're all yellow flagged. Beto has a rubbish fixtures. Robinson, no good. João Pedro, obviously, like all these players are just getting sold to like bring in others. Saka, I've actually thought about selling him myself this week, but I'm not selling him at this point. Bowen again has a horrible fixture this week, but then from then on for the rest of the season, he's pretty good. Kirkes makes sense. Palmer has just been underwhelming. And again, he's someone in my team that I am considering turfing out, but at the moment he stays. Bruno Fernandes, again, not good fixtures probably until next week onwards. So again, I can understand why people are selling him this week. And then Wissa and Mbuemo, obviously the Brentford fixture run is slightly harder. and that's problematic moving forward. So, the assistant managers with table bonus for Game Week 32, and there are 8 of them. 8 of the 10 matches well, 8 of the 11 matches this week, if you want to put it that way, have table bonus. So I've got, starting in 8th place, Urich versus Aston Villa. I would still be expecting Aston Villa to be beaten Southampton this week quite comfortably. Van Nistelrooy against Brighton. Ironically, Leicester actually took points off Brighton the first time round, I think, if I've got it right. McKenna's obviously got Chelsea. I don't see them getting anything there. Amarin versus Newcastle United. He's got a lot of problems, and Andre Onana is chief and point. Again, causing problems in the Europa League. And yeah, I just think that he's the 5th one. Potter versus Liverpool. Again, that's a really hard fixture. I can't see him doing anything, but I do have him in front of Amarin for this week. Moyes versus Nottingham Forest. Again, Everton have been a great team under David Moyes since he's come back. More attacking, but beating Forest defence is really hard work. Frank against Arsenal is a really interesting shout because they're going to be worried about that Bernabeu leg. What kind of team are they going to be versing? It could be an interesting week for him. But the clear standout this week is Oliver Glasner versus Manchester City away, unfortunately, and then Newcastle United again away. But remember, Palace have an amazing record away from home, and they've been in pretty damn good form of late, bar that Southampton blip the other week where it wasn't overly fabulous. But they are looking really good, and for me, it's a clear reason where you should be going. Eddie Howe's an option, no table bonus. Oliver Glasner sees a draw against him. He's going to be beating Eddie Howe this week, 100%. So my final plugs for Game Week 32. The question for the next 2 weeks is which chips do you play and when do you play them? Many are going to be playing their triple captain or their bench boost this week or next week. So for me, I'm playing 100% my bench boost this week. I'm still non-decided about my triple captaincy chip. I am considering whether it's worth waiting to see if there's a double game week in 36, because if there is, I feel like there could be better fixtures there for my triple captaincy shout than maybe in 33, particularly if Arsenal make it through to the next leg of the Champions League. They will be concerned about burning out their players, especially with like the likes of Saka that have just come back. Otherwise, Saka will be a great option in game week 33. Is anyone else worth a shout outside of Isaac for captaincy this week? I think there are a couple of options. We'll have a look at them in a second. Will this be another week of popular expensive assets getting benched in the Premier League post-European games? I think it's quite likely that we're going to see a lot of rotation again this week, and that might temper the expectation of what scores we should be looking at or expecting. I think the double game week players are locks, but everyone else outside of that that's involved in Europe is a little bit of a rotation risk in the league, as we saw from last weekend, probably again this weekend as well. And that being said, the best defenders to buy this week, Munoz, Livramento, Burn, Guardiol, Timber. Best midfielders to buy, Sarr, Eze, Murphy, Gordon, Savinho, Rashford, Alanga, Asensio, Saka and Bowen. I still think they're all really good assets over the next couple of weeks. And the best forwards to buy, it's definitely Isaac this week, Mateta, Marmoush, Vanlinson. Cunha is now available, back off suspension. He doesn't need to be remembered. But his name, Pereira, was non-committal about Cunha coming straight back in the lineup because they've been playing so well without him. And Jorgen Strand-Larsen has been in fine form. So again, he also makes the cut at number 6. I got 59 points last week, and this is how it went down. So Raya 2, Guardiol 9, Burn 6, Munoz 8, Palmer 1, Saka 1, 2 disappointments there. The minutes risk, not ideal. Salah obviously doubled as my captain and only got me 4 points, which didn't feel good. Now, I saw a lot of people captain Jacob Murphy last week, and he got 15 points, which is unbelievably good. Mateta obviously got 8. Again, Isaac, vice captain, he got 2, no good. And Marmoush got 2. On the bench, I left no points this week. Only 5 points left on the bench. 1 each for Kukurea, Milenkovic, Verbruggen, and obviously 2 points for Sarr. Again, not the best return, but 59 points got me up to 859th in the world, so I can't really complain too much. So, onto my updated chip change. You can see there, I've done this from Game Week 24. Every week, I've just got the rank there, how it's gone, and sort of played out. Obviously, played my second wild card in Game Week 30. Didn't make much difference because I feel like a lot of people did the exact same team in Game Week 31, and I just went a week early. And in reality, it didn't matter if you wildcarded this week or last week. Most people's teams, unfortunately, are really similar now. But last week, I did change Gabriel for Kukurao because I am not going with a free hit 34 strategy. I'm going with the save the free hit for either the double game week 36 or most likely free hit 38, where there is a lot of fixture changes for that last game week of the season. This week, obviously, as you can see, I'm actually rolling my transfer. I've had no look at any moves this week unless someone got injured in Europe. And thankfully, it doesn't look like anyone got injured in Europe. So I'm just going to be playing my bench boost chip and rolling my transfer as predicted until game week 34, where I'll make the 3 free transfers and I'll field 11 players in game week 34. So, game week 32, the captaincy decision. It's Mateta, Isaac, Jacob Murphy. Those are the 3 best options, Mars. Yes, you could put Eze in there, you could put Sarah in there if you wanted, you could put Munoz. I just think these are the most 3 reliable people. And look, it's pretty hard to go against Isaac. He's been in incredible form this season. Mateta obviously got that goal last week, and hopefully that gets him kick-started. Unfortunately, I think he's building up his match fitness, and hopefully he's getting closer to 90 minutes because that will make him more viable. But Jacob Murphy is a really good differential shout. Like I said, a lot of people captained him last week, and it makes a lot of sense, and I understand why people are doing it as well. I just think Isaac's probably the most reliable. He's scored the most goals this season out of the 3 of them quite comfortably. Made the most points out of these 3 for the season as well. I think it'd be hard to overlook him. Yes, there's always a little bit of a flag on his reliability and his fitness and stuff like this, but I just think he's too good. When he's playing, he's too good of an option to not give the captaincy to, especially when he gets 2 games in the game week. Obviously, Mo Salah has West Ham at home, so again, that could also be a really nice fixture, but I find it hard to see captaining anyone else outside of Isaac for me. That's just my personal opinion this week. Team selection for this week, and we have in goal, Raya, our home for Brentford, looks like a good fixture. Dan Burn, obviously, Manchester United at home, Crystal Palace at home. Don't know if he actually keeps a clean sheet on either of those games, but you never get it. You might get that one of them bullet headers. Guardiola obviously has Crystal Palace at home, which isn't ideal considering I've got 2 Crystal Palace attackers in my team as well. And ditto, I've got 1 Man City attacker in my team versus Munoz. And I've obviously got my Newcastle assets versus Munoz as well. So I'm kind of hoping for attacking returns rather than defensive ones. Otherwise, some of these players are just going to be blanking in these games. Obviously on the bench, I've got Verbruggen at home against Leicester, Milinkovic at home against Everton, and obviously I've got Kukurao at home against Ipswich. 3 amazing fixtures for my bench boost. 3 defenders / goalkeeper on there. Looks really good, that part of it. In the midfield, I've actually got Murphy with the vice captaincy. I just think that with the form he's shown over the last couple of weeks, he just needs to be there in that conversation. I've definitely got him at number 2. Mo Salah obviously is at home against West Ham. I reckon he's going to score this weekend. Saka's obviously got the home fixture with Brentford. I'm just hoping he starts in the Premier League for once, hopefully. Cole Palmer, ditto. Hopefully he can start in the Premier League and do something against Ipswich at home. That would be amazing. And then obviously Ismaila Sarr on bench boost. It was just too hard to not play the bench boost this week. Like, all the fixtures are just so good in general. So for me, it was a pretty easy decision. Then up front, we've got Mateta with that double game week as well, Isaac with that double game week, and then obviously Marmoush against Crystal Palace. I'm pretty happy with the lineup this week, and I'm hoping it can give me a large amount of points, especially with the bench boost active. You know, you always hope for like a little bit of pop. I've left over 20 points on my bench so many times this season. So for me, I'm just hoping that this is the week where I end up with like 25 points on my bench, like it's happened a few times this season, and hopefully I get lucky this week. So on to my game week 32 deadline decisions. Game week 32 to 34 navigation, using your transfers to target the immediate doubles and fixtures for Crystal Palace and Newcastle United is absolutely key, as well as covering Man City, Aston Villa, Arsenal assets, who will then be doubling with Palace in game week 33. Like, it's very important that you do have coverage of that because everyone else is going to be having coverage of that. Now, I don't know how many players you should be having from each, and I'm actually ignoring Aston Villa assets. I've got no interest in buying any of them. It's just the way it is, and that's just the way I'm going to play the game. And I'm hoping that I've got a good read on the situation. I might not. I might be completely out and just get absolutely smashed in game week 33, but that's a conversation for another day. The assets to target, Again, this all comes down to choice and the reading of the fixtures and what seems to be mad rotation at the moment. Like, I would have thought that Cole Palmer would have started last week. I would have thought that Saka would have started last weekend, but they didn't. Villa, like Man City, also are complete roulette gambles. You don't know who's going to be starting from game to game. It is highly frustrating. Also, are the premium assets living up to the value at the moment? Like Saka starting on the bench, Palmer starting on the bench, Saliba conceding goals at 6.5 million. Is he actually worth the money? I'm not sure he is. Blanking players in game week 34. Now, are you committed to free hitting, then knowing that there could be more potential doubles and blanks to come? Again, I asked the same question last week. Are you committed to that strategy? Also, is playing a template the correct way, or you should be trying to make your team differential? So, like, I've literally looked at players for the next 3 weeks that I want to move from the double game week 33 players into players that play in game week 34. And I feel like my team post game week 34 will be quite differential because of the fact I'm not free hitting. I'm not going to be stuck with all these doublers that then everyone's just going to have. And hopefully that means that I'll keep able to be able to climb up the ranks rather than obviously drop back down. And lastly, deadline decisions, captaincy decisions. Could you bet against Isaac this week on Murphy or Mateta? As I said in the captaincy decision, maybe that is something you yourself, if you're chasing rank, might be willing to take on, because we don't know. Isaac might not be as good an option as maybe a Murphy or Mateta. Maybe we've got it wrong. Maybe even a Sarr or an Eze could outperform as well. Or even Anthony Gordon, who we're expecting most likely to be back in time for double game week 32. So that concludes my team selection. Yes, this video has been a little bit hard to do because obviously I'm not feeling the best in general. On holiday, my voice is dying. My laptop's been playing up. The internet's been playing up. So when I've been pressing buttons and stuff, it hasn't quite worked. So I do apologize for the sloppiness of it. And hopefully next week will be a better week because I'm staying in Budapest before traveling for like 3 days. So I don't know how many videos I'll get out next week as well, but I am hoping that on Monday I'll have an amazing video out that will hopefully be back to the normal quality we're used to. So for that, I do apologise, but if you've enjoyed it nonetheless, and hopefully I provided you with some mild entertainment as well, please smash a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you in good luck in game week 32.